The Vice President of the Sister Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Minister from the UAE, all the ministers of Uganda, the leaders of the Afro-Arab Youth Council, and all the youth who are here. You have to forgive me because you delayed. I came, then I had to wait, and I have another program. So that's why you should allow me to give you my message, then I can go away and then you continue. Now, Africa is 1.5 billion people now, population of Africa. The Arabs outside Africa, I don't know how many they are, maybe like another 100 million, because some of the Arabs are in Africa. But if you take Iraq and Syria and maybe they're like 100 million or something, because Egypt and Morocco and those are part of the 1.5 billion. So here you are talking maybe of a population of 1.6 billion people now. In the next 30 years, Africa will be 2.5 billion people. It will be almost 30% of the human race. Africa has been underpopulated for most of the time. Remember, the human beings have been here on earth for 4.5 million years. And all the human beings are former Africans. Even these Arabs were Africans. But when they left, they lost the color of the skin. So I regard them as African diaspora. And all the Europeans and the Chinese and all those. Now, what happened is that after the last ice age, when some human beings left Africa and went to other parts of the world, they multiplied more than the population which stayed in Africa. Why? Because, as you can see, the climate here is very good for the human beings, but also good for our enemies, the mosquitoes, the tsetse flies, the microbes. So those enemies suppressed the population in Africa for most of the millennia. But now, that's why until recently, it's now for the first time that Africa has got a bigger population than India. India has been having a bigger population than the whole of Africa until now, recently, when we have overtaken them. Why? Because of the other problem of the diseases. Yet Africa is 12 times the size of India. You can fit India into Africa 12 times, and it would fit there. But the population has been smaller than that one of India. But now, because of modern medicine, we have now overtaken India and China. And in the next 30 years, 27 years, population of Africa will be 2.5 billion. including the Arabs in Africa. So if you add the other people in Iraq and Syria and UAE, this is a very big force. So therefore, you young people, you need to know that you belong to the future of the world. The most important group for the future of the world is here, in the Afro-Arab world. But we have been having problems all these years because of management. And our movement has been studying these problems all this time. For the last 65 years, some of us, like Dr. Uganda here, starting as a student movement in the 1960s, we have studied what the problems are. And we have written a lot of documents. Now, one of them, I have it here. I gave it when we met at the TICAD with the Japanese. And in this one, we identified what we call the 10 strategic bottlenecks that had kept Africa backward. I was talking about Africa, but you can add the Arab world also. And they are all here. The 10 strategic bottlenecks. Why Africa and the Arab world are the tail of the world, not the head of the world. It's all here. We have got a lot of potential, but the problem is some confusion. Now here, ideological obstacle number one is ideological orientation. Confusion about what is important. And the Arab world is really affected seriously by it. Even here in Africa, that was the problem. Uganda had become a failed state because of that. The question is, what is the most important? When you talk of politics, when I went to Khartoum, to Bashir, there were people in the hall in Khartoum. And I said, you people, what is the most important? Hawiya or Maslaha? These Arabs know the difference between Hawiya and Maslaha. What they call Hawiya is identity. Identity, tribe or religion. What is more important? Is it Hawiya or Maslaha? Now, some of these people, identity or interests. Some of the people have been saying Hawiya is more important. I am Sunni, I am Shia, I am Arab, I am African. That's how Sudan was destroyed. Sudan was destroyed by the politics of identity. Sudan was a great country, 1 million square miles. Very lucky to have all those people there. But some confused people introduced the concept of Hawiya. Arabs, Africans, Muslims, non-Muslims. That's how Sudan was destroyed. Here in Uganda, we had the same problems. That's why Uganda had failed. We had the politics of tribes, of religion. Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, tribes, and so on. Until we came and we said, no, for us, we are for the politics of interests. Me, I am a wealth creator. I am not a parasite. I don't live by on anybody. I live on my sweat. I am a cattle keeper. What I want from any of you, if you can, buy my milk. Buy my beef. Buy my bananas. Otherwise, what else do I need from you? So don't come to me to tell me that we are the same Hawiyah. I'm not interested in Hawiyah, just Hawiyah. Hawiyah is like tribe, identity. What I want to know from you, are you going to buy my meal? Yes, we can share other things. We can share language, we can share other things, but not make me forget prosperity. Prosperity. Where does prosperity come from? It comes from producing a good or a service and selling it. If I do that today and tomorrow, I become prosperous. How will you get prosperity if you don't work on the issue of the market? So, there are so many points here, 10 of them. You will go through them, they are here. This booklet I will give, I don't know whether they will get enough copies, but they will give a copy to the Secretariat so that you can print more. If you go them, you will see our analysis of what we think needs to be done in Africa and the Afro-Arab world, so that we gain our full potential. I don't have time to go through all the 10 points, but you will read them. So with these few words, what do? I open your conference, or I close it, or what?
Your Excellency, you are going to launch the fundraising drive, number one. Then two, you will close the conference officially. But as you exit, we had several presentations.
No, I don't have time for the presentations.
I was requesting for only the Vice President of Kenya, yes, and the Minister from UAE.
They can speak when I'm here, yes.
Thank you very much. And the one of Libya, 3 of them only.
Very good. So, with these few words, I launch the fundraising. And I also threaten to close the conference. We shall do that later. Tutafanya baadaye. But after listening to the 3 important guests, I will close it after that. Shukran.
Allow me to take this opportunity